Cool. Can you guys see this? The stream.
Yes.
All right. So Bartico is an attempt to create a system for content production for this DAO specifically, and it created a lot of reflections on its common problem. Because we have these things, we call them like headless brands. If you talk to Raid Guild members across the world, there's a different Raid Guild in each person's head, right? But we also, and this could be a big philosophical blah, blah, blah that I'm not going to go in, but just believe me, like people give completely different descriptions of what Raid Guild is or what they mean to them. But we still have to kind of create content regularly that is useful, that is good, that converts, that people pay attention to. So how to turn this into a process and how to identify the minimum amount of content, because in Raid Guild, there isn't, if any, focus in marketing. It's not something that is prioritized or that receives a high, like our value, has a team behind it, and it's changing. Now we have this unified brand. Everybody's proud of it. We made the video. So check it out. This is how it works. Content strategy framework, where producing content is not only useful to like marketing or talk about the guild, but actually it's part of the coordination infrastructure of the DAO, which kind of legitimizes the process of creating that content. This, I can send this presentation to you guys later. Did somebody just join with like a soundtrack?
GM.
Yeah, G2. What's up, man? Elco, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I've been seeing here on the DAO is like there's spurts of activity with branding and marketing and things like this. They die, they get substituted. Somebody has different ideas. The spurt of activity goes around. It keeps coming back and forth. So the biggest challenge for Raid Guild content production is to be regular. And I think we have to do as little as possible. So for this, I created 5 articles that you can go and read at if.link. But like, right now, there's a very bad link, but soon it will be different because I learned how to use agents. And this presentation is the trick here. I did not touch this presentation. It was completely invented by an agent ingesting information about the project. And this is part of the content strategy. So in the 5 articles, what you understand is there's the conceptual foundations, basically is an article focused on what is good content for Raid Guild, how to evaluate it, how to track it, what does it mean, blah, blah, blah. It's the heaviest one, but also the most important one. The second one describes the process of content creation and how to spin off content. Basically, it's a system of buckets. We just create a bucket for a topic, let's say AI agents, and we throw anything that we think is useful in there. It could be a recording of like Deacon having a rant before going to bed. It could also be just YouTube videos on it. It could be entire manuals about it. It could be articles, things that on the media, just throw it in there because we're going to use AI agents and parsing to process that into what we call seeds. Seeds are long-form pieces of content. They could be articles, they could be classes, they could be whatever. They could just be a long text that organizes the way Raid Guild thinks about something. And it doesn't have to be posted. It's all explained in the article. Now, the next step is understanding how awareness goes from being aware of Raid Guild and becoming a true member or a client. There's 5 levels to this, which is I call awareness, intent, interest, consideration, intent, and commitment. This article just explains the awareness levels. It is important because it informs how you have ideas on how to create content. Then there's a very practical article, which is just every single touch point, who owns it, how to post to it, blah, blah, blah. And a minimal content calendar. When I say minimal, it's pretty ridiculously minimal. The goal here would be to make 1 seed per month, make 4 tweets, which one of them is the seed itself. So 3 derivative tweets from the seed, and just post something to YouTube. And YouTube wouldn't be a very polished
a archival version, and we can have fun with it. And eventually, sometimes we post something polished. There's two rituals for this. One at the beginning of the process where we pick the theme and start throwing things in the bucket, and one at the end where we evaluate the performance of the seeds that we have actually produced until then. If we can't sustain this minimal content calendar, and if people don't even have the patience to read these articles, it's a waste of time for us to try to make content. If we do that, we are going to have this content creation game where anyone can have ideas, anyone can put things in buckets, anyone can start spinning bucket contents into some form of seed, anyone can invite other people to collaborate together in their seeds, and anyone can get a seed that's ready and say, yeah, this could be a good, cool tweet, this could be a cool short video, this could be whatever, and just spin it off. If we figure out how to incentivize this, this could transform into a big engine. But if we don't, and it doesn't transform into a big engine, it clearly contends with the minimum things that we should be doing and create like some form of system around. If we do this without stopping, which is the whole point, is just never go completely silent. After 6 months, I think we are going to see a lot of results, meaning have a lot more clarity of our topics because we're going to have 6 pieces of content that are going in deep about topics that we consider the most important in each month. And we will have kept all our like steps of the funnel alive, and they connect logically from just awareness to a conversion. And all the funnel points are going to be full, taken care of. Also, Rome, we have to add LinkedIn to the touch points because it wasn't in my original text. And I find it hard to believe that doing this well wouldn't be life-changing for the guild. So for the guys who are new to the cohort and stuff, I would love to know how you found out about the guild. What's your current perception of the funnel? How could we improve? What was working? Because it might help us. And yeah, so that's it. And I enjoyed the process of coming up with this because it was very fit for purpose for Raid Guild itself. And it would be an interesting challenge to do it for other communities and DAOs or like subsections of Raid Guild. This could become extremely powerful if we really cared about positioning and marketing.
I totally agree with you. This is great, man. The systemization of this stuff, kind of making the SOP, and this is like a really nicely thought out SOP in a kind of basic sense. I think that. So a lot of your stuff with the buckets and the seeds is exactly the way I've been thinking about this stuff with owning your data. A totally different conversation, but I think that there's ways for us to start leveraging AI, just like you mentioned, to start creating these.
Yeah, this was an impressive experience here, Deke, that I didn't touch this presentation. This is completely done by. It's not in my style, like it would be very different if I had done it, but it's usable.
It's very usable. It looks great. You didn't do anything
so
with the design?
I didn't fucking touch it.
Oh, did you tell it to use the Red Guild branding or anything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks great, man. Yeah, this is something for me and you to meet on and think about how we can start creating these buckets, because I think this is exactly the kind of thing I've been thinking about with, I was calling them collectors, but there's a lot of alignment.
Yeah, it's hoarders. It's about hoarding. This is it's super cool. Imagine it would be Christmas every day for a content producer. They would open a bucket and there'd be a bunch of cool shit inside, and they would have ideas and then start a seed and then say, hey, everybody, I started a seed. You guys can collaborate here. And then everybody can kind of I have pink rosy glasses of how the content production process could be a collective kind of game dream kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Probably not going to happen that way, but it could.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I don't want to go too deep in this, but Like the fact that Raid Guild members don't read any of the stuff that's created, it isn't necessarily a bad thing, but and it's not necessarily our
It is a
audience.
very bad thing.
Well, it's
So
not
it's
necessarily
a
our
very
audience,
bad.
right? Like I don't know. I try to grapple with this too because buy-in at all across the members can be really hard. But really, our audience are people who are just stumbling on to this and might want to hire us or might want to join. So there is some difference there. Well,
Well, you know what's really going to help your reflections on this topic is if you read the levels of awareness article about the funnel. Because that's exactly the discussion, right? Is top of the funnel, people just becoming aware, then become problem aware, then they actually consider some type of engagement, then they actually do it, and then come to a conclusion about you, and then they become you. And when we're talking about DAOs, the inside and the outside are hard to tell apart. It's a tesseract, it's a social tesseract kind of thing. It's a four-dimensional body out and inside. And the game theoretical landscape of Web3 makes it, and also the fragility of DAOs, makes it that anyone that is on the inside can defect and become outside in a second, or just on a particular issue. It's almost useless to think about inside outside.
all right. Well, we could talk about this forever, but let's move along. Actually, if you're going to go, there's probably some alignment here. And this is one of the reasons we do these things is to start surfacing.
Just one thing back. Did I go over time, or did I manage to do this in 10?
I think you did it great. Yeah, didn't go over time, but I think me and you could go over time very easily. All right. Rome, do you want to try to go?